Don't ever study when you have time to study. Because when you study, when you concentrate, your muscle is being exercised for you to concentrate. And when concentration exercise is going on, muscle is being built. Now, your concentration muscle, was going to have emotion of concentration if you are very much good with setting your body clock accordingly. So let's study in two separate ways. Let's begin with on-field study. So first technique that says we are a creature made by our habits. I want to ask one question. Have you heard a term called jet lag? Jet lag is when it's 6 here in India. Now I have landed somewhere in UK and it's 2 o'clock over there in UK. So my body says, now within half an hour you will have to eat something. Because in India I eat breakfast at 6:30. But in UK it's 2 a.m. now. So my body clock is behaving what it is habitual to. So at 6:30 India time, it's hungry now when I am standing in Heathrow, London airport. Even though my eyes are seeing it's Heathrow, my stomach is not able to see it. Why? We are a creature of habits. If I'm doing something for good amount of days in India, that has become my habit. But same goes with the study, my friends. Same goes with the study. If you are studying whenever you have time to study, that is where scope for improvement arises. Our body clock has to be set according to our exam timings. Preferably, if your exam timings are from 9 to 12, see if you can study from 9 to 12. Because if you have lunch at 1, every day you have lunch at 1, you will feel hungry when it is quarter to 1, when it is 1, when it is 1:15, you will feel hungry. Body clock is set for the lunch. If you are ready, if you are not able to set your clock for some reasons, according to your study or according to your exam timings, I would strongly recommend let those hours be uniformed at least. Don't ever study when you have time to study. Because when you study, when you concentrate, your muscle is being exercised for you to concentrate. And when concentration exercise is going on, muscle is being built. Now, your concentration muscle, was going to have emotion of concentration if you are very much good with setting your body clock accordingly. So if you are studying from 7 to 9, every 7 o'clock, every day 7 o'clock, you will feel like studying. Just like you feel like having food now, if it is a lunch time. Why my stomach did not hear me that I am in London, not in India? Because it is habitual to the timing that I set my stomach or my body clock in the region was India. Now I'm in London after 2 weeks. My body clock will be set for that timing. I will have 6:30 in the morning breakfast when it is 6:30 in London. So it will trouble me when I return to India. Am I making sense? Don't ever study when you have time to study. Set your body clock. Your mind will know now it is time to concentrate. Second technique. It's called deja vu. Have you ever heard this term called deja vu? What is it? It's a very interesting term. What is it? I have arrived in the place that is very new to me. And I suddenly realize, even though I am arriving on this place first time in my life, but still I feel I have seen this place before. This is deja vu. But this deja vu technique, in study techniques, this session, what does it mean? Sometimes it happens that we are, for example, we are studying questions and answers, and suddenly we feel, I am reading one question and answer to it 15 times by now, but I am not able to understand what is it in. It is not going in. My brain is not able to accept it. My brain is not able to hold it. Only that answer. Because when we start reading further, then again we start understanding what it does it mean. Again, one question, one answer arises that we are not able to understand. So what I would recommend you to do is, in this case, if you are going to encounter with such kind of not so easy to understand answers, just put one mark saying D, as in deja vu. And when you are done with your study for the day, just collect those questions and answers together and record it in your phone voice. Read out the answer and questions aloud. Record it. Put your mobile aside. Play. Close your eyes and listen the question, listen the answer in your own voice. Within 4 attempts, you would have understood that answer like never before. You have seen this answer once, now listen to it. So you'll feel, I've heard this answer somewhere. Deja vu. Listen to the answer in your own voice. This is niche. In your own voice, underline it. There is no need of going to your mother, going to your best friend, going to your girlfriend, boyfriend and saying, can you record this in your sweet voice? It has to be in your own voice. Clear? Shall we go ahead? Just relate to it. Oh, that is what I was not doing. That's the reason I felt difficulty in doing something. Oh, this is what I need to add. It is assured. Let me tell you this. It is assured. If today you know 10, tomorrow you know 20, and day after tomorrow you know 30. So what actually happens is, when you know 10 and you study 10 for the next day, next day's result is now you know 20. 20 points, 20 definitions, 20 points, whatever 20 may be for you. 30. But have you ever wondered when it actually goes into your memory? At what time exactly it goes into your memory? If you know 10, and if you are adding 10 to it, for it to become 20 permanently, so that you'll be able to recall it in the exams when you wanted to recall, when exactly is the time it goes to your memory, what you have studied, when study becomes your memory? Have you ever wondered? Whenever you study something, Post-study recall and pre-study recall. What does it mean? For you to know whether you have understood it right or not. The ritual is, for example, I have studied this poem, this letter, and now I know, I understood when I read this. But this particular letter in this form is not going to be present in front of me when I actually wanted it the most, or when I actually want it the most, when I'm going to write for this in an examination. In examination, this is not going to be present over there. So let me create that scenario even before it comes. What will I do? I will keep my book aside, close my eyes, and force the recall. Immediately, within next 5 minutes, I will try to remember what I have just studied. Anyway, in future, I am going to solve many problems. So, if I want to solve that problem ethically in great manner, and I want people to thank me always in their entire life, then I will have to know this, not only for the examination, but for the knowledge sake. So let me in what I have just studied, recall, remember, visualize. Once you are done with the study, once you are done with the study for the day, make sure you close your book. You do what you were planning to do, but sleep for at least 8 hours in 24 hours. That is where it goes into the folder that it's supposed to go, and then you will be able to recall when examination comes. See, there is an amorous way of studying which is very wrong. Many people say, I have not slept for the entire night because I was studying. You are playing with your final percentage. If you don't sleep and study, your final percentage as compared to your capability will be 25% less. 25% less. Not 5, not 7. 25. On the contrary, if you're studying and sleep is when everything you study, when 10, you want to add 10 more, and it becomes 20. When it becomes 20, when you sleep. So more you study, the more sleep is required for you to recall what you have studied. This is what post-study recall. And what pre-study recall could be? When next day's study timing arrives, next day's 7 o'clock arrives, just sit and try to remember what I have studied yesterday. If you just follow these 2 rituals, it will be difficult for you to forget what you have studied in the examination that you are going to write. Just order your mind. The biggest mistake I had done in my past is, when I understood the lesson, I thought even I could memorize as it is when it is required for me to memorize or recall. No, it did not happen. When I wanted to write an answer, it did not help me. Now what I do, whatever I want to recall, I recall it immediately after I study it. So my exam rehearsals are already done in the past when I actually studied it. Making sense? So just make sure you study, then you recall what you have studied. Next day arrives, then you go for study again, then you again recall what you have studied yesterday, and then start next day study. And repeat the same ritual for that day also. This is what is post-study recall and pre-study recall. Any questions?
My question is that why, if the study is very essential for every individual, then why not all the people spend their all time for studying?
Why they waste time in other chores? You are okay. But I am not all people. Yippee. I am a wrong person to answer this question. You can answer someone who do not study. I understood your question. There is high possibility of not being able to study is unclarity of their future life. If you are not clear about your future life, what this study will give you in future, you won't study. That's the reason I began this session by asking what problem you are there to solving with that. This particular technique should be applied separately for each subject that you are studying. What you have studied on Thursday, please recall it and then go for separate new subject, because it is not about the subject, it is about recalling. Practice of recalling before the examination. Abraham Lincoln. He was a president of America, and he is considered to be one of the great leaders this earth has ever seen. This is a letter written by Abraham Lincoln to his son's school teacher. Now let's see what he is asking that teacher in the favor of his son. So you have read this letter until laughter. I'm going to dictate you what to tell. Close your eyes and say to yourself, what am I going to read now? What am I going to read now? It's something that is going to change. You can say it in your mind very silently, no problem. That is going to change my life for better forever. What am I going to read now? I'm going to teach what I understood from this letter to hundreds of students after 1 hour. Those hundreds of students are going to teach, each one of them is going to teach separate 100 students about this letter. What I have taught them about this letter. So, what am I going to tell ourselves is, this letter is going to change my life. I'm going to teach what I have gained out of this letter to hundreds separate individuals, and those 100 separate individuals are going to teach 100 separate individuals individually. So one student will teach 100 more students. That clarity I need to have while reading this further. Let's open our eyes now. I just want to know from you, what difference did you feel when we had closed our eyes and said something to us and then continued reading the letter? Was it easy to understand what we are reading? Why is it so?
I felt more serious about what I could do, and I felt that if I have to teach someone that, then I have to understand it better
In the first place, I just want to ask you, how are you going to apply what we have just experienced in your daily study? Or how can you apply what you have just learned in your regular studies? Is my question clear enough?
Whatever I am studying right now, how will it help me in future? Like if I know that how it is going to help me, I have a basis to study it in more firm way.
Yes. Beautiful. Master. Quick shot.
the technique which we learned, that body clock. So I will study for if my exam time is of 2 hours, I'll study for 2 hours regularly, or if possible, and when my exam is going to be at like 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I will try to study at that particular time throughout the week or throughout that month.
But where this particular technique applies?
So like pre-study, so whenever I'm going to study what we did right now, that this is going to be important for me.
Okay. Dude, next technique that says study in the present, but close your eyes and tell yourself, why am I studying this right now? That will add to what part of my future and how? Write down this. What am I studying right now is going to add what part of my future and how. Let that be maths, let that be science, let that be biology, let that be applied mechanics, maths, stove, or cardiology. What am I studying now? How it is going to add value to my future, what I want, and what value it is going to add. Do it every time before you begin, and then start studying. Close your eyes, say this. Everyone's answer will be different. Everyone's intention setting will be different. In later part, we are going to write that also. But make sure you know why you are studying before you are studying. If you understand the gravity of it just by experiencing what you have just experienced, just imagine if you are applying this on daily basis, how will it change your life forever? You knowing why you are going to know, and how this knowledge, how this know-how will add value to your future, and how is it even? If I have to read this later again, what will I tell myself? I want to know how great leaders think, and I want to know whether I can copy their thought process so that my actions will match with their actions. Then I will start reading. If I say this to me and read it again, I don't have to read it twice. Even though I would like to read it twice, but I didn't have to. As we know, if someone tells you, go and visit a tree 1 hour per day for at least 4 days a week, you would not do it. But someone who wants to become a model means Million Someone, John Abraham kind of model, and he knows that I'm going to be in that period, and someone tells him for that you will have to visit gym at least for 4 days a week and 1 hour per day. How difficult it will be for him to visit that gym on daily basis? He will not even stop for 4 days. He will be sad why that gym is closed on Sunday. Why? He knows future benefits of sitting and working out in a gym. So if you want to apply the same technique in your studies, just make sure before you start your study, before you recall what you have studied yesterday, tell yourself, don't say this to yourself, I know why am I studying. No, tell yourself, I am studying this today because whatever I am going to cover today will help me in my future life. This study will add value to my future life in this way, and also tell yourself how. So this is how this technique works. Presently study, but tell yourself what are the future benefits of your study that you are going to invest your time in today. Clear?